Hello there, Eagles fans, and welcome back to our Eagles Therapy Podcast. I'm Basil.
I'm Baz.
And we are recording Friday, November 15th, 2024. How are we feeling after yesterday, Dan?
Oh, man, that was amazing. Slow start, but, man, that was it was nice. We didn't get to go too crazy.
Yep.
We had some good runs. That was pretty. But, the fun was the defense.
Absolutely,
This team is just, that we talk about trajectory. It just continues to go up and up. But I do want to say one thing.
Okay.
Those of you that don't listen to the podcast, you're losing out because last week Basil here was talking about just how our offense and how their defense was ranked this and that, and how throw those away because you made it sound like they had a bad rush defense.
Yeah.
And, they shut us down for a quarter and a half about. Yeah. So I just want to, it's a shout out to you because, you just kind of say, and even this next game that we'll be doing later, talking about it, probably be the same thing,
Yeah.
We're the 22nd pass defense and the third rush defense. Well, watch out because that doesn't hold up. It changes every week. So, but yeah, there was a good call on you last week with that because the Giants, obviously we ran big time after that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But just the way how gigantic our offensive line played late in that game, but it took a while.
So obviously, recording a day after the Eagles defeat the Commanders 26-18 in Philly. We're coming to you a little late. Sometimes those late games are hard for us to record after, especially if we have an early morning the next day and everything. So he had an early morning this morning, waking up at 5 to get on the road at 5:15. So we couldn't really record last night, but we're coming at you now. Hopefully get this out to you on Tuesday night. You can listen maybe during the fights and stuff like that or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so let's get right into it. So like I said, Eagles defeat the Commanders 26-18 in the Link. Annoying thing about the score, we ought to talk about it. What really stinks about it is, we've on a 6-game winning streak. When we were on a 5-game winning streak, our defense averaged exactly 10 points allowed 10 points a game.
Right.
So in the average, over 5 games, they allowed 50 points. And it stinks because of that touchdown and late 2-point conversion, late touchdown. If they had not done that, if they hadn't scored, they would have allowed 10 and they would have allowed 60 and 6, which would have been just nice. But it's a bummer that they do score 18, so it brings the average up a bit. But everyone who was watching knows the game. After we scored that second touchdown with Saquon in the fourth quarter, it was over. It was our third touchdown.
You could just see it in their team, especially when they were driving there at the very end to score a meaningless touchdown at the very end of the game. They're down 16 points, and they're just walking around, and we're like, okay, don't let them score. Let's just make it. We weren't at 26 to 10 whopping, but whatever. They score, go for 2, get it. It just kind of throws it off and it makes it look different, but we still ended up. It was still a big whooping.
Yeah.
So
let's get into the good, the bad, and the hurts. So number one with the good, overall in the good, the team in the second half / fourth quarter. It's been like this all season. It's been weird. It's funny. I think I don't know the numbers now, but if I had to estimate in the first half of games, I bet Saquon probably has around 400 yards. And then in the second half of games, he probably got about 750, so something like that. Now I know he's got 1,150 on the season now, or something around
37, I think,
around about. So I would guess that about 400 comes in the first half, and the other 700 and extra comes in the second halves because it's just unbelievable. This second half of the team, the fourth quarter especially, it's just it's unreal. And we said it during the game, early in the half. We're like, early in the game, just first half. It's stress, it's this, we're losing, my gosh. And we kept on telling ourselves, well, at least we know something's going to happen in the second half. And we didn't know, but we knew.
It took us 10 games to figure it out. But it's amazing how inept, that's some of the terminology is bad, how bad they look. But I was telling you at one point, we're just figuring things out. And then it's funny how some of those runs late in the game, I guess from what they were saying that they were trying to block a certain way. And then they started doing the fancy blocking later, and the lanes. You saw it. You could drive a truck.
It's insane.
It's just amazing how they just continue to run. Give kudos to Kellen Moore for continuing to run the ball.
Yes, absolutely.
But as well as I do, it really didn't open up until Gainwell came in and had 40 yards and 4 carries. And you're like, my goodness gracious, I couldn't believe how. I mean, after we saw that, we kind of went, oh, man, they're just gassed or something, but they were just running over them. And then, of course,
all in all, the team in the second half, but more so than that, Saquon in the second half.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
We already said the yards and everything, but it's unbelievable how he just gets stronger as the game goes. He gets better as the game goes. As people begin to get tired and start to wind down in the end of the third, fourth quarter, he ramps it up. He's on a different level. It's unbelievable to watch. It's a blessing. It's incredible. Yes. They were saying it after the game. Thank you, Giants. Thank you, Giants. I agree. Thank you to the Giants. Unbelievable.
If you listen to the TV coverage afterwards, they're waiting for Barkley to come out to sit at the table, which it's not really a big thing for me. But first they had the Dallas cheer, which was kind of wasn't for Dallas Goedert though.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
And then they started to thank the Giants.
If that fumble he popped up, if he had gotten turned over, maybe they would have been.
Man, I'll tell you what, Calcaterra, he was my guy to keep my eye on 2 weeks ago, and glad he kept his eye on the ball because he got past 2 guys to get that ball.
Yeah,
he kind of knew what was happening, and I mean, he was the only one that was close to the ball when it was recovered. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Next, good, I have third down percentage. On our defense. So the Commanders, before this game, they were 5th in the NFL, getting 44% of the time they converted on third down. And we gave up 3 of 12, which quick math is 25%.
That's correct, yes.
So I'd have to check their team stats because it would have been hit. Let me see real quick. It went down to 43%, so not a big enough drop down. But still, it was good to see a team that goes 44% on third down. They went 25% against us, and I believe 2 of those third down conversions were on that last drive, maybe just one of them. At one point, they were 1 for 9, and they ended up 3 for 12. So, that's huge.
That's the biggest bum about, not taking the ball and just running. Obviously, when Barkley had the big run, you can't tell him to stop, but that was amazing. His second touchdown. Really, he should have had 3. That one was super close.
Got to the 1 yard line. I thought he was in until they slowed
down. I wish they'd give it to him. I mean, hopefully they will. He did end up with 2 touchdowns, but this guy should probably have an extra, 6 touchdowns.
I'm sure there's a big graphic going around or a tweet or some. A lot of Eagles fans, I'm sure, have seen that 9 times this year he's gotten tackled at the 1 yard line. It's the most in the NFL. And the play after all of those, only 1 is a handoff to him. The rest of them are a Hurts rush. So, I mean, that's 8 or 9 touchdowns. I mean, what does Hurts have in touchdowns now? 10 or 11?
Yeah, he's got a lot. Maybe.
I think rushing, he's got 10, or he might have gotten to 11 last night. Rushing touchdown, he got to 11. I believe, so what is it, 3 of those that aren't tush pushes? So that's 8 touchdowns that, could be in the Saquon Barkley belt. Now, we've talked about the tush push before. We're okay with it on 1st and goal on the 1 yard line. We talk about maybe moving things around, changing it, but it is an important play to have in your pocketbook that no other
teams to have that 3rd and 1 push every time.
Other teams just somehow can't do it. But no, next thing I want to talk about. So still going on the defense.
Oh my gosh,
really the defense as a whole. But I'm writing down Jalen Carter. Really, kind of I don't want to say the biggest play of the game because the Saquon touchdowns were so big, but one of the biggest plays of the game, the 4th down stop. When for some reason the Commanders didn't want to kick a field goal, they would have gone up 13-12 if they had made it.
That's true.
Well, that's not their starting kicker. He's a backup. They had to pick up, But that 4th down stop,
40-something yarder too, I believe.
Yeah, 44. Yeah.
Okay.
That 1st down stop. That 4th down stop. So it was 1st and 10, then it was 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, and 4th and 1, or maybe 4th and 2. Yeah. And they stopped him every single time. It's just unbelievable. And Jalen Carter was in on 2 of the 3 plays, maybe all 3.
Well, the 3rd one, he was disruptive on that 4th down. Yeah. He busted through it, almost got a leg or something.
He didn't get the tackle, but after he bobbled the ball, Carter hit him. And he had to run backwards, and then Zach Bond and Reed Blankenship came and saved the day. And from then on, we went down and scored, and that was it. I mean, it was
funny how it was. Like you say, it was kind of scary. And then, of course, when Barkley scored from the 20-ish yard line with that beautiful run, untouched, and then they get the ball back, and then they threw a pick pretty quick after that too, which was amazing again, just Blankenship making a great – he just went right around the wide receiver on that one.
I know.
And just on the ground and just – that ball didn't even come close to touching the ground. It's just amazing how what a ball hawk this guy is. The defense, what can you say?
Yeah. After the turnover.
Incredible.
After that turnover on downs, 3-yard run by Saquon, 34-yard pass to Dallas Goedert. That was the fumble that Calcaterra saved. So thank you, Calcaterra.
Beautiful.
1 yard from Saquon, 6-yard pass to AJ, and then 23-yard rush on 3rd and 3 from Saquon. So, I mean, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if his foot would have been touched. If he fell down and fumbled, it would have been a fumble because he didn't get touched. I mean,
that's true.
It was incredible. And then, the next – they kick off, and the next play, they throw an interception. Reed Blankenship, like you said, great. And then we score 3 plays later. Saquon for 7 yards, Saquon for 39 yards. Or not even 3 plays, 2 plays. I'm sorry. Wow. Saquon for 7, and then Saquon for 39. I mean,
the extra point was good.
And the extra point was good that time, yes. I had that saved for the bad, don't worry.
Yeah, okay.
Next on the good, we already mentioned Zach Bond, but the linebackers. Early on, I was getting a little, because Zach Bond Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean both had some kind of bad plays in coverage. Yeah. They let up that big, Bond let the big play to Eckler, then he missed a tackle on the next play. Yeah. It was kind of like, okay, here we go. No, but towards the end, they really stepped it up, and not even towards the end. End of the first quarter, they were back. Nakobe Dean had a great tackle
open field,
3rd down, open field.
That was
to get us the ball back. Zach Bond was unbelievable all game, ending up with 14.
I told you that one play that Dean made in the open field.
Oh, yeah.
If he didn't make the tackle,
Carter
was right there to just knock him off his feet. I mean,
14 tackles from Bond, 10 tackles from Dean.
Yes.
I mean, just these linebackers are playing out of their
mind. If you look at Dean had 8 tackles and 2 assists. So, he had 8 solo tackles, as did Bond. But it's amazing.
Yeah, 8 solo tackles from each. That's
crazy. It's great. And then, of course, Bond had a tackle for loss.
Oh, yeah.
Carter, he's just, I don't know. If he's not, you get some accolades this season, it's going to be amazing because he's just beating up. He's just walking through lines. There's plays. He's
7 tackles for him total.
Yeah, he's just
for a defensive tackle. You don't see that much. You usually see 2, 3 a game, maybe a 4th or 5th, but he had 7 total tackles.
Yeah,
4 by himself, 3 assisted. It's just unbelievable.
Brandon Graham, I don't know what he had in his Cheerios yesterday morning, but man, he was pushing linemen back 10 feet.
Yeah, he was.
He was. There was one play I had to replay it 3 times. I'm like, oh my God, he just pushed the guy almost into the quarterback, and I believe the other guy, Smith, got the sack on that play, but he just pushed him.
It might have been Sweat, because that sack was one of my favorite sacks I ever watched. The pocket collapsed, Jaden tried to run out, and it was funny because Sweat, he somehow had the vision to cut back and jump over a player and then sack him. And I thought I couldn't believe it. I had Josh Sweat next. He got a sack as well.
The one I was talking about was Graham did push him, and Smith came around the backside and just took him out. But it was amazing how, Graham, the way he pushed the guy back, it had to be 8 yards. It was amazing. And in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Incredible.
The next good I have is still an implication on the defense, but also on the offense. Before the Commanders' final drive to score the touchdown 2-point conversion to make it a 1-score game, and then the Eagles kneeled down the ball on the last play of the game. Right. Before that whole sequence.
After the onside kick.
Before the touchdown and everything, before the last drive, we were leading in drives, plays. We had 70 plays to their 50. They had a 16-play drive towards the end of the game to get the 2-point, everything like that. And they ended up with 66. We ended up with 71 because one was a kneel down.
Right.
Aside from that, if you take away their last drive, we had 70 drives to their 70 plays. 70 plays to their 50, which is unbelievable.
Yeah. That's domination. That their first quarter drive was probably an 8 or 10 play drive, and then they had another drive. So they didn't get the ball much there in probably the third.
They had some early drives that were pretty good.
Long, time consuming.
They had a 3-and-out right away, and then they had a 4-play. 4 plays for a touchdown. That was quick. So early on, they didn't have many plays, so they really caught up a lot later in the game. A lot of these were 3-and-outs and everything. Then they had the 10-play drive towards the end of the half and everything like that. But
I knew that first half, it seemed like they. The time of possession was kind of because we had a few quick 3-and-outs, but once the defense figured it out, and they seem to figure it out every week now, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
and the lockdown, the way they're locking these guys down, it's amazing. But I'll let you talk about that.
Yes, that's the image that I'm sure a lot of people have seen as well. It was shown on the facility on Fox Sports. Quinyon Mitchell. I could probably put it up. I have a picture of it on there.
Is it Quinyon? Because they're saying Keenan and Kunyon.
I know. Isn't it funny?
Come on, it's Quinyon.
I know. It was funny how they didn't really know how to pronounce his name. And
figure it out.
But Quinyon Mitchell, just the amount of he played against Terry McLaurin. I think it was 20
Yes.
20 plays. 20 plays. 20 plays. No targets. No catches.
No yards.
I think the only time he had a catch was against Cooper DeJean on an out route for a first down. So Quinyon Mitchell didn't let up a single catch against Scary Terry.
Scary Terry had one reception for 10 yards.
Yes.
Some of the other players, I think their total wide receivers were 28 yards.
As a whole, they had 11 targets, only 4 catches.
For 28 yards, I believe. That's amazing.
Unbelievable.
Well, that's lockdown right
It
there.
is, absolutely.
McLaren, we've been fearing him for years. He's just destroying us.
Yeah.
I'm
not good with pronouncing names either.
No, McLaren. McLaren.
All right.
McLaren?
Yeah.
That's my Philly.
Into the bad. Early on, and I guess throughout the whole game, really bad special teams. Not even mentioning Jake Elliott yet. Braden Mann had a horrible punt at the beginning of the game.
First drive,
38-yarder, and I was furious. Yes. And then on a kickoff return, we had a penalty. We had a penalty holding on the special teams to bring it back. And then we'll mention him now. Jake Elliott, career high, missed 3 kicks. Yeah. Dude, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I mean, still, I know he's missed 5 this year. Now that 150-yarder a few weeks ago, late in the game, it should have never been. That was you're set up to fail there. But that one kick was only a 30-some yarder, right? The extra point's 35, but there was one other kick, 41-yarder maybe. Okay. I mean, he's just pulling them left, and you got to figure it out. And it's funny because when he had that short field goal late in the game, he almost kicked it through a wall. He kicked it so hard so it went straight and didn't turn.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he plowed that thing.
I mean, it was nice that he ended off the game on a good note. Yes. His field goal being made.
Yeah. And the extra point.
Yes. But it was tough to watch. I mean, it's funny,
there wasn't much wind. It's funny because at one point, one of the announcers or one of the shows I watched today were saying, well, maybe – on the field, there was some wind that we couldn't really see. The flags weren't moving or something because that's why the Commanders didn't kick that go-ahead field goal because of the conditions, but you didn't really see it.
This is a guy that kicked that overtime field goal against Buffalo last year to get the game into overtime during a rainstorm. I'm not worried about wind affecting him on a 44-yarder. I mean, his long was 31 yesterday, so it's just I think both the kicks he missed were from 50. I'm pretty sure. I think one was 51, one was 50.
I don't know.
But because now he's 0-4 on the season for 50-yard kicks, which is bad.
He hadn't hit one yet
this year. Which is bad. I mean, he's missed more kicks in the last 3 games than he had in his previous 2 seasons. Yes. I'm not saying anything, but it's worrisome. It is. It's because you can only go as far as your weakest link.
We need him back.
And that's kickers are. You don't want kickers to be important, but they are. And it's funny because before this started happening, we always had that no-brainer, like, oh, he's going to go out there and make it. You're not worried at all. And now I'm not going to be not worried. I mean, every kick he kicks is going to be scary.
The word on the street is maybe he was injured, and that's why we didn't kick him early in the year. We don't know. Yeah. We're not going to find out.
In which case you have to find out because were we all being mean to Nick Sirianni for no reason? Yeah. Because all those times
he was coaching out of his mind.
All these times he was going for 2, he was probably maybe he was like, Jesus, this guy can't kick right now. Yeah. I might be completely wrong, but it's just, man, in the Jags game, he missed 2, right?
I don't know.
No, he made one. I'm sorry. He missed 1. But this year he's missed 5 field goals, and I don't know for sure about his extra points. Right. I think that might have just been his first extra point he missed. But
extra points have always been kind of a thorn in his side through his years. You know what I mean? Yeah, he never missed field goals.
Missed an extra point in the Super Bowl.
I know.
I remember that Super Bowl.
Yes. Well, so did their kicker. They hit the post and missed the field goal, and
Yeah, so he's only missed 1 extra point this year.
Wow. Okay.
Missed 5 field goals, man. It's
now.
It is
like you say, the distance. That one is not fair. That was a setup. The late in the game.
Yeah, but that's
you can't make them all.
No, but you
got to make some.
Got to make some. And
yesterday we could have used those, especially early in the drive. That early drive that didn't get anywhere. We needed that field goal just to kind of settle us down, which didn't help.
It's worrisome. It's all I'm saying. The next bad. Why does this offense refuse to do well in the first quarter? And even the game in which we broke our first quarter's no-scoring streak, it was the Jags game, right?
Yes. Well, no, was it the Jags? Yes, it was.
I think it was the Jags. Yeah. Even then, we had to punt the ball away, and we forced the fumble on the punt to get closer to the, So I'm just saying, it's just What's wrong? Why does this offense and the coordinator and the coach, why do they not want to do well in the first quarter, in the first half yesterday? But
it's funny because you'd think you'd be able to script your first 10 plays or whatever. And they should be, especially in this.
The first 15, yeah.
It should be. You just think that the defense isn't going to be playing tight coverage. You think you'd have some nice, easy throws early on, settle down, but it just doesn't seem to be that way.
No.
Now, we did have some drops yesterday. We had 2 there on that one drive, and they were good defensive plays, but the one to Dotson was right in his hands. The guy did knock it out, and Dotson's not much of a physical.
Well, Smith was bad.
That was bad. It seemed like he was falling and just kind of threw it down at the ground, but that one was tough. It was. I don't know, Baz. I just can't tell you what's happening with that, but it's frustrating. I mean, obviously, we should be happy we won, right? I mean, Jake says we're never happy, ever.
This is actually probably the happiest win I've had this season. Now, it sucks that they had to go down, except for the Dallas game, of course. That's an exception. But, I mean, for the rest of them, the New York one you're pretty happy with.
Yeah.
The Bengals one, but for a while it was stressful, terrible.
The Jags.
The Jags was great, and then it was bad.
Yeah,
so,
since that fumble.
To me, this was my favorite win of the season, I guess, besides the Dallas game. Because the Dallas game is just great because it's against Dallas.
But this was the biggest one. This was the one that they had the most media pressure. Media eyes were on it,
Yeah.
Now, of course, they're going to say, "Oh,
maybe
they weren't that good.
It's really not that good.
Maybe he's hurt, or his ribs cracked, or
it's
whatever."
How it is.
It's funny. Last night, if you watched Rube, when Dave mentioned it, Rube just went, like, "Oh, you don't think he's hurt?" He said, "Just everybody's hurt at this time of the season." It was just funny how he took that, and I feel the same way. Like, okay, so
Well, it's the
you get the hype before the game, and then after the game, it's
I know that's the big thing.
It is.
It's hard. Let me just say this, and this is going to sound like a really jerk thing to say. I'm going to sound really mean, but it's hard being a fan of the franchise that won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. And the reason I say that is because we're really the last franchise to ever complain about injuries. I mean, when AJ and Devontae went out, I never went, "Oh, no, it does. There's no excuse. You have to find ways to win. You have John Dotson, you have Paris Campbell, you have John whatever. When Goddard was out, it's not. Oh no, it's Calcaterra next man up. Maybe I'm wrong saying the franchise doesn't, because I'm sure there's a lot of fans that do, and there's fans of every franchise that complain about injuries, but I just don't. I don't see a point complaining about injuries, and it's probably because my team won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. Right. There's no excuses in the NFL. You don't get to say, "Well, this guy's hurt now." That doesn't matter. That's right. It's the thing with Dallas. Oh, well, Dak's
okay. That's why you should have another quarterback.
I don't know what you want. I can't. I feel pity for the player. I'm not going to say I don't feel.
No, but I know what you're saying.
I hate injuries happening, but I just. Injuries cannot be an excuse.
It's funny how when it's the other team, it's, they're injured. But when it's your team, what do you mean? Well, okay, we played the game, we won. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Let's get to the Hurts. What's up?
Go ahead. Just I don't know if you were going to mention how many total yards that Barkley had yesterday and how many total yards we had as a team.
Go ahead.
So as a team, we had, 400 and something, right? Barkley had 198 yards yesterday. Which isn't crazy.
Total yards, we had 434.
434, he had 198 of them. 52 receiving yards and 146 rushing. That's incredible. You don't talk about his receiving yards like they do his rushing yards, but my gosh, that one
reception was amazing.
They need to work that play in, I think, once or twice a game. Maybe hit Gainwell with that same pass. Not in the flat, but behind the line.
Sorry, let me throw that in the good. I didn't mention Gainwell. I'm sorry. I know you mentioned him earlier.
Yeah, I love him.
4 carries for 43.
Not 42.
I know.
And then 1 reception for 6.
Okay, 4 carries for 43 yards, 1 reception for 6. So 49 yards on 5 touches, almost 10 yards a play.
He also created...
and he also, you're right, he got us kind of back into the game, I would say.
I think so. I mean, it opened some eyes real quick, like, oh, wait, look, we can run again.
He had 1 rush early in the game on like a 3rd and 22 for 9 yards. Right. Then later on...
And that was a good run.
Oh, no, it was, yeah. But it was 3rd and 22.
Right.
But then later on, he had a 14, he had the 13.
Consecutively.
Had the 7, and got us down to the 4-yard line.
Yes.
And Saquon gets us to the 1, and tush push.
The 1 in the quarter, 1 and the half yard. The quarter. Yeah. I thought he was in. I know his elbow was down, but...
In full speed, I thought he was in.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the Hurts section. So, early again, I mentioned it with the offense. Pocket awareness is bad early on, It's just weird. It's weird early when, I told my friends, my friends were texting in the group chat, my fantasy group chat, and they're like, "Oh, Baz, he doesn't look good." And I'm like, I know, it's weird because he'll do this. He's going to do this for the next 2 quarters. And then out of nowhere, it's going to happen. And I was 100% right when I told them, he was solid down the stretch. It wasn't his best game. It wasn't even close to his worst game. He managed the game correctly and he won the game. I mean, it's just there's nothing else to say about it.
We talk about tight ends. We talk about Calcaterra and Goddard. Goddard, 5 targets, 5 catches,
65 yards.
61 yards.
65 yards.
So, I mean, that's
Goddard. You say Goddard?
Goddard.
Sorry, I meant
5 targets, 5 catches.
Yeah, 61.
That's just, the other guys, 3 missed pass, whatever. But
yeah,
when he throws to him, it's 100% completion rate, almost.
And then a fumble.
Yeah. But, I mean, that was, I think Hurts is happy to have him back.
Yes.
I'm a big Calcaterra guy who ended up having a great play, too. But I wish they keep throwing it to him. How many guys did we throw to yesterday?
Showing on here, we got the ball to 6 people. 6 people caught the ball.
That's nice.
That could be, I think we threw one to Anaya Smith. Oh, yeah, he did throw one to Anaya Smith, but I think there was a penalty.
Oh, okay.
It was like a holding on us.
They keep trying to work him in, which is also a good thing.
No, it's really good. I
would say throw it to him downfield, though.
Yeah, it doesn't
keep giving the quick pass around the corner, the pitch play, whatever.
I mean, it's good to see him getting snaps. He had 6 snaps.
I agree.
Johnny Wilson was in the game. I don't think we threw the ball to him. He had 13 snaps.
I'd like to see him get 1 or 2 a game, too. I know we have all the, but you want to go that 8, 10, 6 to 8 pass, different receivers. It just changes the game, I think.
Definitely. Let's go to the under the nest plays. So I have 4. I know we usually just choose one on each, but I just had to mention all these plays. So number 1, Calcaterra recovering the fumble.
Yes.
A little bit overshadowed because then we go down and score, and it feels like it's it's in the past. But what a heads up play! This is what you want a football player to be. He never stops. He never stops churning. He's down there trying to make a block. He's down there trying to make a play. He's not going, oh, my tight end's gone. He's 20 yards downfield. We're good. Right. No, he's running after him, trying to make a play, and he recovers the ball.
If I could interject real quick, that's another thing where Dotson, he doesn't get many catches, but he's always blocking downfield. If you watch, if he's not shielding a guy, he's running a route to pull him away from the running back because the guy can't turn around and look at the running back. He's covering him. So, I mean, he plays a pretty integral part.
Yeah. The next one I had was under the nest as a player. Kenny Gainwell, 4 carries for 43 yards. We talked about him, but really kind of sparked the game for us when he went for those 3 carries for 33 yards, 34 yards.
That's it, 34.
That was huge,
Consecutively.
Yes.
That was incredible. I was really hoping he'd break one into the end zone. That would have been cool. But
the next one, of course, the 4th down stop got all the glamour, but the 2nd and 3rd down stuffs were just as big and just as impressive. Carter, a part of basically every single play on that drive. He played 100% of the snaps. We already talked about Jalen Carter, but just so huge. It's Fletcher Cox level now, dude. You're in that area. He's playing 100% of the snaps, and he's playing them dominatingly. He's not playing them and taking plays off. He's playing all the way, man, full 100%.
Plus, he's fun to watch. If you look at him, he's smiling from ear to ear, and he's having a heck of a good time.
He likes playing football.
He does.
He likes hitting guys.
And he also likes a little
chippy times.
No, he loves it. It's funny because there was probably a play or two where they might have thrown a flag. Hopefully he doesn't get a rep, and hopefully I notice he also talks to the referees a lot. Like, hey, hey,
I'm getting held.
That guy's hold, but he doesn't get mad at him. He jokes around. Like I was watching him, he was talking to the ref, and this is when everybody else was running off the field, and he's standing there having a conversation with the referee. I thought that was what's he saying to him? Like, hey, good place to eat down the street here or something,
And then my favorite play of the game on the Saquon Barkley 39-yard touchdown. The Cam Jurgens block.
Oh, my goodness.
So this was reposted, I think, by the Eagles page. We saw it live. You couldn't really see his first block, but you saw him continue to block downfield. But, yeah, as Saquon's running to the right, Saquon had to cut back. Right before he cuts back, Jurgens is 10 yards downfield, and he annihilates, I think their safety, maybe linebacker.
I didn't get his name.
Destroys him. I think it was a safety. Destroys him, and then Jurgens turns around and sees Saquon still running. He's running towards him. The guy gets up, and Jurgens keeps running and shoves him again. Now, he got this guy on the ground 2 times.
Yeah.
Second time, could have been called for a little block at the back possibly. But the funniest part about it, when I showed you, I rewinded it for you. I was like, Dad, look at this play. The referee, when he pushes him, the referee's turned around. He didn't see it.
He run to the end zone.
Exactly.
Yeah, it
was hilarious.
But, yeah, luckily, and I think that's the way it should be. That's the same with a hold that's over there when they throw the ball 20 feet over the guy's hands. What are you doing? The play is over there. It had nothing to do with the run, but it was neat because he threw him about 10 yards. And then he kind of stood over him and kind of smiled, or you could just tell he was,
and then was like,
feeling good about it.
Him again.
And so then when the guy got up, he actually was running away from the hole that Barkley was running through.
Yes.
And then by the time he turned around, he just gave him another shove from behind and floored him again.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Injuries in the game. Hurts, at one point it looked like he was being evaluated for concussion. There's some bad talks about it because I think he said in post-game interview he beat the concussion protocols instead of saying he passed the concussion protocols. I don't know if you read into that too much, but there's some stuff going on around about he shouldn't, the NFL needs to be better. And I don't know. He seemed fine after that. That's kind of when he, second half was really when he changed it around and started.
He does every week.
But yeah, so he went in for a concussion. Best thing about this game, really, we came out of it with, I don't want to say anything, knock on wood, not really any injuries to talk about. Landon Dickerson left the game on the third play, but he ended up still playing the rest of the game. He missed 8 plays and came
in, covered for him.
Came back into the next drive and was good to go the rest of the game. Maybe that ankle's going to be a little bit sore, but other than that, it's great to get out of a Thursday night game with glaring injuries.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Maybe someone seems like a lot of hamstrings.
Oh yeah,
receivers.
Oh yeah, AJ
lineman.
The big one, yeah.
Lineman.
Oh yeah, Mailata was hamstring.
He's hamstring. Yeah.
It's big that we were able to get out of the Thursday night game on a short week with a long travel.
Oh yeah.
Just get yourself away from it, and you have a long time to heal.
It's the only good thing about a Thursday night game, which there isn't much for a team, but they get that nice long bye.
It's great.
And it's funny because at this time of the year, prior to the Thursday night games, they have the Thanksgiving Day game. So you got 6 teams that are getting that mini bye late in the season too. So you never know what's going to happen with that. But so this is a good one. They got the 10 days off basically or so we get to watch the games this weekend without any stress, and they get the rest and do the same thing. And we're talking, this is a nice long break for them.
Definitely, you got it. You need it. All right, let's talk about some of the games going into this weekend. So we didn't get to talk about it last time because we knew we'd be talking again. Games we're going to be watching and looking out for. Number one, not a divisional game, not even a conference game. Ravens and Steelers. This is kind of my, people have been talking about it. This is kind of the MVP watch, I would say. Some of the front runners for MVP, of course, being Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and yours truly, Saquon Barkley. Right. And if the Ravens, if they run into a steel door against the Steelers, it might change some things around the MVP thing. I know in the end
it's always a QB.
We don't care for it, and it's going to be a QB. But it's cool to be above in the race, and it'd be cool for him to at one point be, he's the leader. In the end, we just want to win a Super Bowl. But MVP is always cool to add.
We never had one for a long time.
Yeah.
So
the other big thing, Baltimore Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers. These are 2 of the teams we're playing in the next 4 weeks.
That's right.
So this is big thing to look at. See if they make it tough on each other and beat each other up a little bit.
Yeah.
Soften one another. Maybe the offense isn't as good next week.
Well, the other good thing is, we get to watch the game and scout a little
love
bit.
it.
And I'm sure our team will be scouting us too. Like, tendencies or whatever. And man, if you rush from the right side, Lamar can't throw it from his right or whatever.
Yeah.
I know they have that already, but it's something to see what's happening in this season.
Yeah. Other games to watch out for, we're not going to really talk too much about them because they're just not super related. But the Vikings playing against the Titans, Vikings still in the playoff contention. I think they're listed right now as this 5th seed coming into the wild card.
They've looked bad.
No.
Recently.
5th seed. Yeah, haven't looked too good recently, but they did beat the Jaguars last week in a terrible
7. They should have
terrible game. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Detroit and Jacksonville, another thing. Detroit.
Yeah. Well, maybe Jacksonville's got a good defense. Hopefully they can toughen up.
No, they're
no. Goff had 5 picks last week, right?
No, just stop. It's not. I'm not even. I would say I wouldn't even put this game on.
Yeah.
No,
it'll be part of the 4-bye.
Packers Bears, another big one. So Packers being right now listed as the 6th seed.
I wonder the Packers off last week. I think they were. Because the Bears are just falling apart.
Yeah, Packers were off last week. They're the 6th seed in the NFC, so you expect them to win this game and kind of retain that 6th seed. And if the Vikings lose, they go to the 5th seed. And we got to start looking out for that because the 7th seed begins to matter soon if we can stay the 2nd seed and if the Lions start to lose at some point.
It's not going to be the Bears. I'll tell you that right
now.
No. They are just they're bad. They just keep getting worse.
I'm blown away. People thought they'd be in the playoffs. And I know at one point they were 4-2, yippee-ki-yay. But no, it stopped. There's just no way it was going to happen.
I agree.
I just can't. Rams, Patriots. Rams an outsider right now in the wild card, but we're coming up on playing them, of course, next week. Right. So going to be a big deal to see how they're doing. Let me see.
won big in 19-3 over the Bears, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's
Patriots. Yeah.
Yeah, they looked okay with their
It's just
May. Is it May?
Yeah. No, they're 3-7. I don't think it's any time for that. But the Rams, 4-5, still able to really win their division. I think they play the Cardinals and the Niners each once. Niners, man, I'd love to see them lose this week. They, of course, are playing against the Seahawks, so that's the next big game. Not sure if I can really expect them to lose the Seahawks, but it would be really nice.
Who's home?
The Niners.
Okay.
So the last time they played was it a Sunday night game or a Monday night game? The Niners kind of beat the Seahawks down.
They did.
But yeah, this
Seahawks are a funny team, man. They're up and they're down.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Are they 4-5? Yeah, 4-5. So Niners 5-4. Like to see them drop. Like to see them not make the playoffs. It'd be kind of funny, if they could be victim of the Super Bowl hangover.
Well, the big thing about them is, everybody's saying they're getting healthy. McCaffrey played last week. It didn't look very good, but you never know. I mean, he looked better out of the backfield than he did behind the line.
Yeah. Looking forward to Chiefs-Bills. I want the Bills to win, of course, but
should be a real good one.
The Chiefs are inevitable at some point. You feel like it's just, I don't know. But no, that should be a good one. And then last one for this weekend, really looking forward to, is to watch the Texans beat down on the Cowboys. Just be fun, just be kind of entertaining.
That's Monday night, right?
Yeah, that's the Monday night game. It's funny because, we talk about with the Giants, we're like, well, we don't want them to lose too much because we want them to get a good pick.
Right.
But with the Cowboys, you can never do that. I just want them to lose all the time.
Well, just don't have too many pillows on the couch because that might be going to bed early at night.
That's true. Very true.
Fall asleep.
Yep. All right, let's talk about some comments on YouTube and maybe in an email as well. So, stated by your dad, by your brother, Uncle Mike, we need to start games when they are blitzing linebackers up the middle with Van Sumer in the backfield to pick up the blitz. Gainwell failed to block Overshown at least once where he came right through. This was, of course, last week against Dallas. Right. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, Van Sumer's not a bad idea to have in there as a blitz pickup. You know what I mean?
We have in there this week. We had another guy back, tight end, right?
Yeah, C.J. Ozama, not to pick up blitzes, but he was going out for passes.
Yeah. Kind of cool, though. He's in the backfield.
It was weird to see this week that Van Sumer didn't actually play in the backfield at all as a fullback, which was kind of a bummer. You like to see. But no, it was it's a good point to have Van Sumer possibly back there to pick up blitzes, on those third downs. Yeah. He can leak out and get a pass. We've seen him catch a pass already.
He's bigger. He's got a bigger size than Gainwell.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd rather.
And it's taking Saquon out of harm's way, getting annihilated by a linebacker.
Exactly.
But JJ, we talked about in the last episode, we talked about the Wentz game when he was sacked. When we sacked him a million times.
9 times.
JJ said the Wentz sacked a million times game lives rent free in my head. You said you had to hold in your laughter, and that's funny because the Wentz game when we sacked him 9 times, that was our first game at Frankie's.
Oh,
that was our first game at Frankie's with the Eagles group and everything like that. We had skipped that week. The first 2 weeks that year we played Detroit, Detroit, Minnesota. We skipped those games. And
week 2 I was out in town.
Yeah, you were out of town in Washington. We went week 3 to Washington, and it was first time at Frankie's. That was when we met Ben and Steve and JJ and the whole crew.
You cleaned the floor a lot that week.
Yep, I was doing the sack dances, the cock sack dances. I remember. They're great. Mike Roman said he's hoping for a solid game, building on the last 5. Don't want to see a lot of mistakes. He was hoping for 31-14. I mean, not completely off. If we had made our field goals before, it would have been 26 plus 7. 33. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it would have been 33-18. So, hey, he wouldn't have been too far off.
Right.
If we made those kicks, it would have been nice. But It's good to see that we continued on. Getting on that 6-game winning streak. Thanks for the comment, Mike.
Awesome.
And he also said Smitty, he's protecting. He was saying Smitty gets a birthday touchdown during the game. I said it'd be happy birthday indeed. Unfortunately, didn't happen.
I heard they had a cake for him in the locker room.
In the locker room. They threw a cake at him. Not at him, but they gave him a cake.
Dave didn't get a piece, though.
Cool. Yeah, I know. Dave did not. And then Mary said, "Go Birds, go Birds." Mary, thanks for the comment. And then we want to give a shout out to David, one of our guys in our group. He emailed us last week, and I didn't notice it until he did. So he emailed us before the last episode. He said, one of the things I noticed, he titled the email, Dallas Demolition Derby. Love that.
Nice.
He said, one of the things that I noticed in the game was poor coverage on our end to stop Micah Parsons. Do we know anything on Micah and a contract extension? If not, do you think Howie pulled the trigger, try to get him? Not sure if this means coming back to the Eagles, everything like that. We kind of talked about in the last episode.
Yes.
I think
would we like him? Yes.
In my own opinion, I think there's a 0% chance he ever plays for the. Well, I'm not going to say he ever plays for the Eagles, but there's a 0% chance we ever trade for him. Yeah. There's just no way.
It's 2 number ones, easy, and a contract extension.
I was 3.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah,
No, you're wagering your future on him.
Yes.
And also, he is a great player. Don't get me wrong. We make a lot of jokes about wanting him and everything.
Yes.
I don't want this knucklehead. I mean,
Yeah, he does talk a little bit, especially what he said about the coach this past week.
It's funny because it's not like he wants to cause drama, but he unknowingly is the king of it. Like, it's just,
I agree.
His own fan base seems to kind of not like him now because he says these things about the coach. In the past, he said things about, I've seen everything in my NFL career, and other guys were going, "What? You've been here played for 4 years. What are you talking about?" And then they, got the podcast. I don't like it. It's just he says a lot of kind of boneheaded things that I just would not want in my locker room or on my team. That's my own personal opinion. I get it. He'd be an amazing player, and you just have to hope that at some point we draft a guy in the first round who's as good, and that takes care of it. But I just don't want a guy like that on my team.
No, I agree. And again, he's a fantastic player.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's
top 5 defensive player in the league, top 3 probably.
For me, yeah, but we want team players. We got team players. We have youth. Let's continue to build on it. Thanks, David, for the
DJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Josh Sweat, and then it's and that's Micah Parsons. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, thank you, David, for the email. We really appreciate it. All right. Well, let's go ahead and say our goodbyes. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. If you like our Eagles Therapy podcast, do us a favor. Rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and comment down below. Just like David, you can email us your questions at oureaglestherapy@gmail.com. But other than that, from all of us here at Our Eagles Therapy Podcast, I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
Fly, Eagles, fly.